We're out here. Dude, I had a fucking mezcalita, like a mezcal margarita delivered for brunch. Like we had a little brunch.
Wow.
We were going to go to
awesome.
brunch, but it's raining.
Mm-hmm.
So we got a little brunch delivered. I got like a huevos rancheros with like fucking chorizo and shit, like an eggs benedict with chorizo.
I'm happy for you.
Thank you, dude.
That makes me happy, bro. I'm glad you had that to eat and to drink.
Thank you. But yeah, that mezcal, just, it was one cocktail, fucking buzzed me. Way too early in the day, but
very chill.
But who cares, dude? Oh man.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
Yeah, how you feeling? You got a weird energy right now.
I mean, I woke up like hella early, and then I wanted to sleep in until I went to go see the movie, but I couldn't fall back asleep and stuff. But it's actually free comic book day, so I went to the comic shop and gripped that and got back.
Free comic book day?
Yeah, they have like tons of free issues in there.
Right, that are made just for this day.
Just for that, yeah, specifically. But there's some cool ones though. Picked up like 5 or 6.
Is that big stack we see to your left? Is that?
No, that's just other stuff I'm reading. That stuff's downstairs.
Gotcha.
This is a fatty book though. That's a Fantastic Four one, but it's one of the goated comic runs of all time. And I started reading it, and I was like, "Damn, this is fire." It's actually kind of funny because like to compare that form of entertainment to what I just saw, you know, and how the quality of each, I guess, even though they're totally different mediums, but
I got an email that I kind of want to read before we get into that because it's about that.
By all means, yeah.
Fucking, this comes from oh wait, this is the wrong one. Hold on. This comes from Jack, the guy who emails us every single week.
Yeah, cool. Cool guy, I like him.
He says, Connor, one TikTok got you to the Doctor Strange premiere. Shit's kind of crazy. You've got to tell us, is it mid? Also, did they make you sign anything saying you wouldn't spoil it before it's released? Because if they did, break the rules. Tell us the most important part of the movie right now. You won't. I don't want to send an email just for Connor. Max, Tony, how we doing, fellas? I'm going to hit you with a wild one. What's the kinkiest thing you've ever done, and what's the kinkiest thing you have yet to do but want to do? Have a great... I didn't know that second part was in this. Have a good week, gents. Kindly, Jack. P.S. That email you got from Shelly a couple weeks ago was my mom. I had her send it without showing me, and I was surprised by how critical she was. Glad y'all had a good laugh about it. Much love. Yeah, that was funny. She was very critical. I appreciate you saying that. Lots of critique that we didn't ask for, but it was funny.
Too bad Max isn't here to
tell us his kinkiest experiences.
And it's the deepest, darkest, kinkiest thing that he wants to get
What's
done.
What's the deepest, darkest, kinkiest thing you've ever done?
Tell me right now what you want to do. Yeah,
I just wanted to read that before we got into the convo, because if we read it afterwards, we probably would have already talked through all that. But
right. No, you had mentioned it before. I can't really go into any of the kinky stuff because people that I know may listen.
I'm not
going
to even address that question. No, I'm good.
I'm really sorry. You. Like, I wish I could.
I like having sex with human beings. That's my
I did have
favorite
sex.
thing.
That was actually pretty. That was pretty.
Sex is pretty kinky. I'm not gonna lie. Biological imperative type shit. Yeah.
Dude, now that I've seen it, I want to hear like your unfiltered opinion of the movie, though.
Well, I mean, I told you minutes after I got out of the premiere.
Right, but you kind of were going over more of sort of the fan servicey stuff, what you couldn't believe was in there, the Sam Raimi flavor that was, I think, more sprinkled throughout than the tone of the movie.
So I'll say this. First of all, if you guys are just now tuning in, usually we're joined by a third guy, Max. He can't be here today. And also, usually we don't speak this heavily probably about a movie that just came out with spoilers. But this is going to be a spoiler-ridden podcast. Completely.
Right. You don't get invited to the red carpet premiere of every movie either. So, we're just gonna dive right into it.
Right. For some context, I made a TikTok. It's the most popular TikTok I've ever made. And Marvel reached out to me and basically invited me to the premiere, and I told them I live in New York. I can't go to it. And so they're like, all right, well, we'll fly you out. And they did, and put me up in a hotel, and it was very nice. Nothing about that experience was bad. It was very cool. Everyone was super kind. It was a fucking awesome time, and it was amazing. It was a lot of flying. It was 6 hours there, 6 hours back in 2 days. I felt like a literal ghost when I went back to work.
I was just like, longer than that. It's funny.
Yeah, it was 5.5 hours there, 5.5 back. But you got to consider the airport experience. It takes you an hour and a half to get home and to the airport each time. Yeah. It's absurd. It's the amount of travel. So it was like fucking 15 hours of traveling to watch 1 2-hour movie. But
worth it.
That didn't warp my opinion of the movie. I took it for what it is. That's the thing I'll say. All of these Marvel movies, you can compare them to cinema. You can compare them to all kinds of movies and media. But it doesn't do anyone any good unless you take them for what they are. And what they are is a product made for fans of them already. They're not really trying to win over a lot of new people anymore. They've got this insane audience, this insane thriving fan base that goes nuts. I saw it firsthand. The people cosplaying at this premiere were nuts. They don't need to convince anyone to go see these movies. They have total dominion over the industry, and each one of these movies becomes a huge event. So I'll just say that. I take these films for what they are, which are films made for fans of the franchise already. They're not made as standalone films anymore. They're made as entries into...
Completely lost if you had not seen, not just WandaVision, but, any previous Marvel movie, like... Right. The movie would be almost nonsense to you.
If you took like Oliver Twist and just played this film for him, he would be like so confused. What's medicine? What's a doctor? Yeah. So that's how I always take these films. I try to just take films in general for what they are in and of themselves, what they're trying to be. So I'm going to tell you how I felt about this film as a Marvel fan, as a Marvel movie. In my opinion, it is a more enjoyable film than the Spider-Man. The reason I compare it to that is because Spider-Man is like this other tentpole, huge episode in the franchise of like, look at all this shit that's happening. It's going to be really consequential, and there's consequences is a big theme in this one. And I thought it was pretty solid. And if I would have seen this 5 years ago, I would not have thought this was solid. But the bar is lower for these Marvel movies because they churn them out so much quicker that something like Multiverse of Madness is actually a pretty solid entry, considering the amount of, it's 2 hours long, isn't that right? Multiverse.
I got out at like 1:30. I was like, wow.
It's a 2 hour and 6 minute movie. It does not really drag for a second. The scenes are short. It gets to the point. And I thought it was enjoyable as, a 2 hour episode of a television show with a movie sized budget. That's how I look at it. I thought, the character development wasn't really there. It wasn't like we got to know more about Doctor Strange or fucking Rachel McAdams' character or Wanda even. We've been with Wanda for way too much time already. But I have to say, as a story, as world building, as a transitional kind of entry into this franchise, I think it sets up a lot of cool shit. It sets up a lot of interesting things. And I think it's pretty entertaining. And like I said, it's 2 hours long. It's not a 2 hour, 45-minute goddamn Avengers movie. It gets to the point. There's some pretty cool special effects happening in it. I think it's way cooler than the stupid shit in Spider-Man, like when you the reason I compare this to No Way Home is like you watch No Way Home and it's all these references to old movies and all this self-reference and all this like it's sort of like a smug self-importance. Like I'm the most famous person in the world.
Right.
Like, no, you're fucking not. like fucking Tony Stark would be. But yeah, it's like this one. I liked it because it just gets to flesh out more of the universe, and also I do think it does allow Raimi to have a lot of moments where he's being weird and Raimi-esque, and the camera work and the fade in and outs and the whip pans and the fucking the tropes of like the undead and the gore, and I mean, there's a lot of cool shit like that you've never seen in any Marvel movie ever. Like when, spoiler alert, Black Bolt's fucking mouth gets closed and he tries to whisper and he blows his own head off. That's insane. Reed Richards gets turned into fucking pasta. And Jim Krasinski is Reed Richards. I mean, it was like, and then Professor Xavier shows up for like 4 minutes.
You got to put a spoiler alert in too.
I said that. Yeah, I said this is going to be, we're going to spoil the shit out of this.
Okay. I forgot. I'm still a little baked.
I'm still a little baked. But tell me what you thought, Tony, because you're going to just argue with everything I say. I get the feeling you weren't pleased with this.
I thought it was incredibly entertaining mid. About as entertaining as I expect it to be.
Yeah.
Right? It was an entertaining, like action-packed, gratuitous, like, adventure, almost fully animated, and when you think about it. And there was a lot of fan-pleasing stuff. But it's just kind of like, I don't know, when you like the scene when they get to the Illuminati and they're just sitting there and stuff, like it just looks so set piece, it looks like it's like there's no there's no style in that part, it's devoid of any Sam Raimi style, which is not necessarily the style you would want for that part. But like the Illuminati,
that part was very CW vibes.
Yeah, it's exactly. It's like, and honestly, like the girl that played America Chavez, I don't know if anyone's going to be saying she gave the performance of a lifetime, but she was just kind of.
She was just sort of an enthusiastic young woman.
Right.
There wasn't a lot of character to her.
No, and it's like, okay, like I think she's like a cool brand. Like that's a cool name. America Chavez, a portal punch power. Like it's cool. Sure. And that is like a good plot device to move through multiverse.
Yeah. I like how there's a star. Like portal.
It's visually cool. It's kind of, but then you get to the point where she's like afraid to use the power the whole movie, or she can't use it unless she's afraid until she can. And then she just figures out how to do it. She's like,
of course.
Dr. Strange
very convenient.
He's like, wink. And she's like, you're right. I got this. And then she just like fights the Scarlet Witch. And then.
Yeah, she doesn't really go through an arc. She just gets captured. And then it's like, oh, wait.
Right.
How funny was it, though? The beginning of the movie, it just starts with him and her speaking Spanish, running through like a black abyss away from a monster. You're like, what the fuck is this? Like a space abyss.
I give him props for like starting, right out the gate. Like that's, it wasn't like a Marvel title card with like a classic rock or like a I don't know, like a 60s,
a 70s pop song. Yeah.
Or no, like a, what did they use at the beginning of Endgame? Like it was like a slow, like ballad song from the 60s or something like that. Or like, just starts very slow, and it was good for Endgame. But, I feel like all the shows have started slow out the gate, this one just kind of got running, and I thought that's played into how entertaining it was. Like it, the comedy, there really wasn't too much like eye rolling comedy as compared to some other stuff. That was nice. That they didn't fucking go overkill with that.
I feel like the Doctor Strange comedy is usually more downplayed in a good way.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, there was some fucking lines from America Chavez that were just like, all right, you're just like an annoying like kid. Like, I don't know. Like,
yeah.
There's a lot of dialogue where they're just making fun. They're like, oh, the guy with the fork on his head, and it's like, and they're talking about Black Bolt or whatever, and they make jokes about other people too, but it's just like,
it's like, how could you think that's ridiculous out of all the things you do and that you also seen? How do you think a guy with a fork on his head is stupid?
You're telling the audience to not take it seriously. So if you don't take it seriously, no one's going to take it seriously. And that's what a lot of this stuff has become, is they make fun. They're Dr. Octopus, Otto Octavius. That's your name? Like, it's just like, how, it's just like, yeah, it's a comic book. Like what's cool about comics is like, like Superman. I mean, it's like it's an old, it's played out by now, but like saying that they're just dudes running around in underwear or whatever. But it's like, yeah, that's literally what it is. It's fantastical, ridiculous shit,
Right.
Even absurdist. And they're still and it's still cool. But when you start doing this self-referential, just joking about it, then people are like, it is kind of stupid. These guys, they're just wearing underwear.
Yeah.
Well, maybe it is kind of dumb, and then so they're doing themselves a disservice. Like, treat it like it's badass and cool. But they make a lot of the casting choices. They just cast people that look like normal ass dudes, like the point about superheroes is that they're like fucking Greek gods, dude, like,
right.
But they want it to be like, no, everyone's a superhero.
Give me 1 second, Tony.
Okay.
The thing for me that stands out the most in terms of not making these things like legitimate is like the fucking costumes.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why they can't make these costumes look cool. Reed Richards' costume looks so fucking bad.
Mm-hmm.
It was made out of like 8 different materials. It looked like it was like a fucking wax figurine. It's like, really? That's what the fucking fantastic. And then it's not lit in any cool way. There's not like cool cinematography to make it look more realistic or anything. Like you said, it's the Illuminati. You just walk in and it's just like a room with like some backlight to it.
It's like a gray chamber.
Yeah, it's like a gray chamber with like a little bit of sunlight coming in the back. Whereas like if Zack Snyder did that, it'd be like a dark room with like beams of light in like a temple. It would be like crazy, and it would be like huge and like mythic.
You wouldn't just have a flat shot of each of them. You would have like a shot where you see all 5 of them like sitting in a row, and maybe they're all in shadow or something. And you reveal like one of them stands up out of the shadow, and you're like, oh shit, but it's just
right. It's just like
John
you can just see who it
up,
is.
just like just standing
so
there. Yeah.
Explain for the viewers that maybe have seen it and they don't quite get all that shit. Like, what's the significance of the 838 universe? What's the significance of the Illuminati? Like all that shit. Peggy Carter or whatever. She's Captain.
Well, she was in Captain America. She's
Captain UK now.
Captain Carter. I mean, she was in the What If show, right? But she was the love interest of Steve in the first Captain America movie. And but like the 8, I forget what number they were, but so it was a little confusing because so all of Marvel Comics, like the main, Spider-Man #1 that's been running since 1963, and I guess Fantastic Four was the first one, really, since 1962. But all those take place in like 616 or the universe 616. So it's kind of confusing because I thought when you told me that, I was like, okay, so are they referencing the comic book universe? Because previously this MCU universe had a different number.
Now they're saying it's the MCU's version of 616 is what they're saying.
Even though it's like drastically different in so many different ways. But it's like whatever, it's like it's just a
number.
It's just a number. Yeah. I mean, it's like the comics are the comics, the movies are the movie. Like they're clearly diverging in a lot of different ways with what they're doing in the movies. But that was, that was a cool Easter egg. But the Illuminati are like in the 616 in the comics are Mr. Fantastic, Professor X, Black Panther, Namor, and Black Bolt. And I think, and Doctor Strange.
And what's their function within the fucking...
So they got together to solve... They first got together to figure out what to do with the Hulk. And they sent him out into space, and that's what started Planet Hulk. And he landed on a planet, it was like a gladiator planet. He, eventually rules the planet. Then he comes back, and there's World War Hulk. And so it's kind of cool. And then... when Civil War happens in the comics, they have like a disagreement in the Illuminati, and I actually haven't like it's getting to be a part to where I haven't read those part of the comics, but that eventually causes Secret Invasion, which is when Skrulls invade the, and start swapping out with heroes, and like you find out a bunch of heroes have been Skrulls for a while, and then all that happens, and then Norman Osborn takes over, and he becomes like the leader of the Dark Avengers, and so this that I'm actually reading right now, this Fantastic Four run, starts right there, and it's basically starts with Reed Richards being like, he looks into every reality where similar things happen to the events that had just happened to them. And he's like, damn, every reality the Illuminati failed and caused like all of this stuff to happen. And so he basically realizes that he needs to act alone. He's the most brilliant mind in the universe. And he walks into this room where he has 100 ideas like scribbled on the walls and stuff. And he goes, this is the last issue I read, but he writes idea 101, solve everything. So I'm like, damn, this is like, that's a fire way to open up this fat ass book I'm about to read. Like, I don't know, like I was more entertained by that than not more. Yeah, the movie was entertaining shit, but
yeah.
Whatever.
So like, tell us, cause you said that earlier, like kind of like the comparison of reading the comics versus how they world build in the movies. Like, how does that differ?
I mean, I don't think it differs. I think they're doing, they have Elseworld shit in the comics, they do like a whole fucking universe where there's like, it's like noir, and then they have a whole one where it's in like Victorian era and stuff like that. So it's been a thing. These brands, like, it's like, yeah, why not see what Iron Man looks like in the Victorian era? And I get like people that just want the normal shit, too, but as long as there are ideas, someone's going to make them. But yeah, I don't know.
I'm trying to find Victorian Iron Man, and I'm just seeing one with a regular Iron Man helmet wearing like a fucking dress.
I think it's then okay though to say the characters I care about are 616 fucking Spider-Man, 616 Hulk. I don't read any of the other Elseworld shit. I don't read Miles Morales. That's cool. Like, and that's the thing too, is like this multiverse is a way to kind of expand the sort of diversity of everything. And there's a whole crowd that is so against that. And it's like, and obviously they're all white people, and it's like, okay, yes, look, 90% of the characters have been white, but you also look at the fact that I feel like there's a lot of these minority characters that they just kind of leave in the dust, and then they try and kind of ham fist like it's a perfect example with Falcon, and this isn't a multiverse thing, but it's like, why can't Falcon just be Falcon, and just like they can build him up, and he could just be the leader of the Avengers eventually or something,
right?
And the same with Cyborg. And
so you're saying the characters in the Marvel Cinematic Universe that aren't white kind of get sidelined a bit, which I think you might be right.
Massively, they do. Yeah. Cyborg, there's no reason he couldn't be as big and famous of a character as Iron Man. He has a lot of the same, if not more, capabilities than Iron Man. And they kind of left him in the dust.
That's DC though.
DC and Marvel though. War Machine, they've left him in the dust. I don't know why they cast an old ass dude to play War Machine. They had such an opportunity to make a badass like character they could use for a long
old ass dude. He is.
He's old and he's not like a badass. Like he's a badass, but he's not.
He's like a hesitant military like guy,
right?
He's just like, yeah, I guess I'll be War Machine, fine.
And that was I kind of went off on a tangent there, right? But like that's what the multiverse I feel like is going to be sort of utilized for, is to like, oh, let's get they're doing it in DC too. You have a Black Batman comic coming out right now. You have Miles Morales came from the multiverse. He came from, so that in 2000 Marvel started a line called the Ultimate Universe, and it was just a fresh start, as if everything had started in the 2000s, versus the regular continuity where everything that has happened since the 60s, like they'll reference back to it. Like it's all just one like timeline. So that's why it's so steeped in continuity. So
Spider-Man's 60 years old, Peter Parker's 60 years old, 80 years old. It's sort of like
but it's kind of like you have to think they're in a comic book universe. It's the rules of reality don't apply the same,
Right.
And actually the Fantastic Four's kid, Franklin Richards,
right,
who is a mutant also, has the power to rewrite reality himself. And I think I explained this in a past episode, how he was like the ultimate evolution of human, which would eventually become a god that can write reality himself. And so that's how you can kind of explain the sort of nonsensical time of the Marvel universe. And DC has its own version of that too. Okay. So in 2000 they started the Ultimate line, which is Earth 1610 or something like that. And that one, Spider-Man died after like a 15-year run. That's what got me into comics, was reading that Spider-Man run.
Ultimate Spider-Man. What was the thing that fucking Rachel McAdams dropped? It was like the Baldwin something.
Alec Baldwin?
No, the Baldwin Institute or the Baldwin Academy.
Oh, the Baxter Building? That's where the Fantastic Four live.
No, but they were
Young Baxter.
Is that what she said? The Baxter Institute? She said something like that.
Yeah, Institute or building.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah, because she said that, and it was like Baxter Foundation mentioned. Yeah, Baxter Foundation. So that's the Fantastic Four?
That's their headquarters.
Gotcha. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's just like you gotta be watching the show at this point. You know what I mean? When I say that, like you gotta be like fucking just like keeping up with the shit at this point, or else it's just not for it's not for you. You know what I mean?
Right. And let me finish what I was saying. So
yeah,
Miles Morales came around like 15 years into the Ultimate Universe. Spider-Man, the original, or the one in that universe, died, and all of that actually ended up culminating in. They ended up meeting in the end of this Fantastic Four run by an author named Jonathan Hickman. He sort of like orchestrated that and the Avengers and the Ultimate Universe all like colliding in this thing called Secret Wars. Mm-hmm. And that brought Miles over into mainstream continuity. And now, he's just and honestly, like, I think that's fine. Like, there's no reason there shouldn't be like a black Spider-Man, like a black version of the most popular character ever, potentially. But they were talking about doing a black Superman movie written by this guy Ta-Nehisi Coates, who'd been writing for Marvel recently. Mm-hmm. But it might get canned because I think they're just realizing that they're just diluting these characters, and who cares what I say? Like, I'm a white guy, like, maybe a black people probably want to see a black Superman. Yeah, but it just feels like disrespectful, like it's a knockoff. Like there is like why not make new characters, and they don't have to be the black variant of a character. It's like make new characters. It doesn't even have to be new. It could be Static Shock. Like they have done nothing. Or ones that already exist could have more prominence. And what DC is, the cool thing about DC is they have all these like sub labels that they swallowed up, and they wrote that into continuity, like Vertigo, like Watchmen is part of DC, like mainstream continuity, and and the Milestone universe, which is Static Shock, Icon, Rocket is his sidekick. There's some more characters too. They're all black, and they're just doing nothing with them. And it's like, but we'll get we'll do black Superman, and it's like, okay, but when you have to like use the like black as like the adjective for like it just comes off as a cheap knockoff, and I feel like they should get better. I don't know. Yeah, they deserve better. Is what I mean. Yeah, I mean it's like they deserve to. I don't want to speak for them though. It's not. Who cares? Have more prominence. Like like Black Panther was a big movie, but he didn't have that much like importance in the Endgame story, as if I recall. Like it wasn't. It wasn't. It was all Iron Man and Hulk and fucking Ant-Man and shit. Mm-hmm. Like he even though he gets his own movie, like. Yeah, it's just I agree with you. I think the characters get sidelined and shit. I think there's still quite a bit of like racism kind of involved in just the creative decisions that get made sometimes, and how things are marketed and stuff. It's like Sam can't be his own legitimate hero just as Falcon. Like it would have been like it would have been cooler. He has to become Captain America, right? Yeah, exactly. It's like no, I'm my own man. Like I don't need to be, but. There's probably black people that want to see a black Captain America, and it's like, I'm not going to be mad that they want that. No, it's still cool. Black Superman would be really fucking cool. All this shit would be cool. And that's why that's what I was trying to get at, is basically that the multiverse is a gateway to doing that, and a totally one that makes sense because hypothetically every reality exists. So, and you say, okay, well, if all these realities exist, then nothing matters. Well, it's like, well, no, fucking, and this movie really kind of actually did kind of do that well, is like, just because he found a different Rachel McAdams, like she's a different one. She's not his, like
his OG.
Earth 616, whoever, Tony Stark, he's dead.
Right.
Like they go get a different Tony Stark. It's not just like, oh, he's still alive. Like, no, it's like, that's a different person.
Yeah.
It's
Robert Downey could get another role in the future. It's possible.
Right, exactly. And so it keeps it open. They can cast anyone that's been cast as a previous character in other movies. They can, it's just sort of a,
it's an opening. It's an opening. Yeah. And also, like, Reed Richards was in this movie, which felt like a big leap to just randomly have Reed Richards.
I couldn't believe that they had.
I was amazed. Yeah. I was like, wow, okay. They're opening up the possibility for X-Men but like, really? You're going to have Professor Xavier be the fucking Patrick Stewart one? Like, that's crazy.
They could have a younger one.
Yeah, like they could have had a younger one, just create a new one. Like, you didn't have whatever his face was from the original Fantastic Four movies, the Fox Fantastic Four, whatever. Graffood.
Ian Ruffard.
Yeah, we have Ian Graffood as Reed Richards. But like, yeah, like fucking, it's crazy. Like, he gets killed, they like show you, and then he just gets killed. And it's like, but that still shows that like there could be a Fantastic Four in the regular fucking universe or whatever.
And it could be played by someone else too. I mean, they had multiple Peters that looked completely different. So it's like anyone can play anything. So it's kind of convenient for them. But I think as long as they make the films like action packed, entertaining, not slow paced, I mean, then you got to, like you said, look at it for what it is.
Hey, I mean,
and what this was entertaining, but very flawed in a lot of aspects. I
mean, the Friday box office was $90 million. So I think they're going to be just
all right.
$90 million box office on Friday. So yeah, they're gonna go ahead and keep making these because they don't need to give a shit about what we think about how good they are or anything. They will continue to make them.
I think they realize as long as they have, because I would say, I mean, No Way Home was entertaining too, not as entertaining as this, but they did both meet a threshold of like, all right, there was no point in this movie where I was like, oh, I regret coming, or like, oh, this is like super, super mid. They were all just like, all right, like, oh, that's cool. Like, oh, that, damn, well,
it kept moving. It kept moving. And I think the Sam Raimi elements of it kept me engaged too. It was pretty cool.
Oh, yeah.
All the horror shit and just kind of like how he went about it and stuff. And it was so funny. The whole theater, that moment where they're waiting for Wanda to just pop up when they're running away in that tunnel to go get the book. It was like the whole theater was like, go, what are you doing? Like they were just standing there like, is she coming? We've been running for the past. Down. Yeah, time to stand here and wait to see if she's.
They were doing slow mo. It was like you could see the water was like coming like a millimeter a second. It was slow mo. I thought. I didn't think she stopped the water.
I thought that was dramatic effect.
Maybe, but I don't know. But I did like how they gave her like a lot more horror vibes versus just like, kind of what they showed at the end of WandaVision, which was just energy blast sort of battles,
Yeah. Hey, Tony, shut the fuck up real quick.
Didn't we enter? I thought we... Oh, no, I guess you didn't.
No. Forgot something.
Oh, okay, yeah. What did you forget?
I forgot to introduce the podcast.
We'll get on with it.
Oh, no. I'm so... Dude, that is Kalina. I'm about to have to take a fucking nap, and I have shit to do. I'm fucked.
Dude, yeah, you're screwed.
This is definitely going to be a short episode of Woke and Boke, folks. Let me tell you. Ladies and gentlethems, it is Monday, May 9th, 2022. Welcome to another episode of Woke and Boke. That's right. Episode 138 to be exact. I am your host, Connor Boyd. You may know me from the application known as TikTok. You may follow me on Twitter or Instagram. You may know me from Jaded Forum. This is a podcast I've been doing for like 2 years with my two best friends, Max and Tony. And we basically just chill, hang, sesh. Sometimes we smoke weed. I can't smoke weed in my apartment anymore, so I don't really do that during the ep.
You can't?
Sometimes dude, I can't since fucking I moved in here.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Oh yeah, that's why I switched to Delta 8.
I thought I'd seen you rip your bong in
not in here.
Huh.
You've never seen that. But
no big deal.
Yeah, joined as always, like I said, by my best friends from the Great Gateway to the West. Max cannot be here today. But we are joined, as always, by, as you can probably guess, the resident Marvel expert, Tony Harrop is here. Tony, how the fuck are you?
I'm doing all right.
Nice.
Yeah, doing pretty good. Well rested.
That's good. I am so tired, to be honest. Yeah, we may not even go here for a full hour, folks. I apologize, but we did give you.
Yeah, it was a movie review episode,
Yeah.
Recap on a few other things, and
sure. Every week we get together, like I said, to catch up on shit we're interested in. It's usually video games, movies, music, television. Tony likes comic books. I like marijuana, as does Tony. And more, maybe anime sometimes. Subscribe to us on YouTube and follow us on Spotify if you're not already doing so you don't miss a single episode. You can join our Discord where we hang out all the time as well. Link to that is in the description. You can also follow us on Twitter at Welcome Boke Pod and Instagram at Welcome Boke Podcast to get updates on the podcast every week, and reach out to our Gmail, welcomebokepodcast@gmail.com with your questions, comments, and suggestions, and we will read them on the show. And links to all these are listed in the motherfucking show description, folks. Welcome. If you've been listening through this far, you've likely seen Doctor Strange, and you're likely a frequent listener. And if that somehow didn't bore you to death, what we were just talking about, thank you for tuning in. We appreciate it. I figure we could just answer a couple more questions.
Yeah,
absolutely. But before we do that, is there anything else we need to touch on that we haven't spoken about? I mean, the Pusha T album, we talked about that. I've been sitting with it. It's really solid. It's a little short. You kind of hear the same songs over and over again. Mm-hmm. It's the one thing. I wish it was maybe 45 minutes long, not 30 minutes long, because I know Push has more material than that. He's like, I make it this short because masterpieces aren't going to be, 90 minutes long. And it's like, yeah, but like 30 minutes, 8 songs, basically. It's like,
I'll say Daytona was, I thought, stronger though, and it was shorter.
Yeah, that's tough. It's tough to say. Okay, so it's 12 songs. But it's basically equal length. Let me go to Daytona and see.
That fucking beat.
Oh yeah. Wow, Daytona was 21 minutes long. So
yeah, it was a gripper. I mean, it was fully. Yeah, it was brief.
If you know, you know. No, it's really good, but it's. I'm just wishing he had put out maybe a little bit more. But I'm not mad at it. Of course, Jack Harlow's album is out. Lots of people are shitting on that. You got a Future album out right now. Mixed feelings on both by a lot of people. The Jack Harlow one I'm seeing getting panned quite a bit, but that's like the Marvel music. That's going to do very well regardless.
Right. Yeah.
People like that as background music. The Drake verse on that goes really hard, not gonna lie. The Jack Harlow song, but all that's not gonna matter in approximately 6 days when Kendrick Lamar's new album comes out. Everyone's gonna shut the fuck up about all this stuff. The Pusha album, the Future album, Drake versus Drake in general, Jack Harlow, they're all going to become irrelevant because Kendrick is back. And he hasn't been here in 4 years. Black Panther album, songs off that, la di da di da, slap on me da. Like that was the last time we heard him. And it's a double album. It's called Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers, and I think Mr. Morale is one album, Big Steppers is the second. I see this as being there's a potential for this to be one of his best albums ever. The way he's been sitting on it for so long and the way he's rolling it out, it feels like he's probably got heat coming and a lot to say. He turned his phone off for months at a time. Like he's locked in. So I feel like we've got some incredible music coming from him. I don't know. What do you feel, Tony?
Is it this Friday?
That is this Friday. Yep.
I'm excited.
That's controversial to say. Yeah.
Is that just a rumor?
No, he posted a picture of him with 2 CDs, and one said Mr. Morale, and the other one said Big Steppers, and it said mastered on it. So they're like done and turned in. So
that's special.
Yeah, man, it could be a 2-hour album. Who fucking knows of Kendrick music?
Yeah.
So
probably. I mean, this is probably the most I would look forward to an album since. I don't know. Fuck.
Yeah, I don't. It's been a minute since I've actually looked forward to an album, and I look forward to Playboi Carti's Whole Lotta Red. But
oh yeah, that I wasn't. I didn't really get into him though until that dropped, and we heard it that first night when we were rolling. That was crazy.
Well, you heard it that first night. I heard it Christmas Day, Christmas Eve night.
Right.
But yeah, crazy. Yeah. Crazy stuff. Yeah, man.
I can't believe it. They have such short album rollouts for rap albums, because metal albums, they'll be like new album out in, if they just drop a single today. Sometimes they'll just drop a single and not say anything, or they'll be like new album out in September or something like that. I'm like, bruh.
It's like by the time your album's out, I'm not even excited for it anymore.
Right. That's like the normal standard for metal.
That's funny.
Quarter of a year, third of a year ahead of time.
Yeah, that's all I really wanted to touch on. I'm excited for that. I just need to get the mid off the streets, as Tizo says. Tizo Touchdown says. Get the mid off the streets. This mid has been dominating. Mid has been dominating the industry, getting like all midnight. The awards. Right. Like midnight. Is there any development on that show? Has anything happened?
His wife ends up getting superpowers, and she kind of comes in and saves the day as a different superhero that they made up for the show. And there's like a part where she flies in and she like looks behind her, and there's this girl, and she's like, "Are you an Egyptian superhero?" And she's like, "I am." And then I'm like,
great dialogue, dude. That sounds
like
hilarious.
Wow.
Very
powerful. Way to not spoon feed that directly down into someone's stomach.
Right. Just Jesus Christ.
It's a lack of respect.
God, there's nothing I could think of watching less than fucking Moon Nut. Wow. Yeah. It's sad. But yeah, that's about it. I mean, get the mid off the streets. I'm just telling you, the mid has been going on tour. The mid has been winning awards. The mid has been dominating. The mid is what's gotten the attention recently. Get the fucking mid off the streets. Kendrick, please. Come back. Set the standard again. Please, man. Blow it out of the water. Get that futuristic, we've never heard anything like that, amazing artistry out there. We need it. To Pimp a Butterfly, no one's made it even close to a good of an album as that since. So I think it's possible he could. Yeah, let's end it with some questions. We got a question from Seth, frequent emailer. Seth goes, if you could relive a day or a particular moment from your past with the knowledge and life experience you have now, which day or moment would you redo, and how would you live it differently? Would you tell someone off? Would you seize an opportunity you missed, etc.? I personally don't have an answer for this. I have no regrets. I would not have done anything differently, frankly. yeah, everything's worked out pretty nicely. I'm pretty happy.
Yeah, I mean, me too.
I mean, maybe I would have bought more Bitcoin in high school or something like that.
Right.
Yeah,
I
that's
wish I would
about
have
it.
paid more attention to cryptocurrency when I knew people were buying it my freshman year of college.
Yeah. I should have just bought a bunch of Bitcoin when I was in junior year of high school. And then I'd be a millionaire now. That's about it. That's
Financial things. Really, yeah, that's a great answer. I think that's like really the most, you know, logical answers. I would have not spent money on, you know, Blu-rays or records or CD.
Jeans, when you had 15 pairs of jeans.
Yes, too expensive expensive clothing. Like, yeah, I'm about to like take almost like either like half to 75% of all that stuff and take it to half price books. And I've been cleaning out my clothes too, like way less stuff.
Do that too. Yeah. To minimize. But thank you for the question, Seth. Moving on. Next one. This one comes from.
If you're young, save your money because you will thank yourself tenfold, you know, in the future for.
Yeah, try and save a little bit if you can. I understand. It's life's short.
Right.
You want to have fun.
Don't be frivolous with it. Don't spend it like, you know, don't spend it on collecting too many different things or fucking having excess stuff. Like it's, you know, you'll be thankful, you know, spend it on experiences, et cetera.
Right. If you're going to spend it on fun shit. Yeah. This comes from Dexter. The subject line says, philosophical question plus rant split into 2 parts so you don't have to read all of it. Okay.
Very nice of him. Very thoughtful.
Very thoughtful. This says, hello, Bokers. Got a little philosophical question for you guys to think about because you're all pretty smart. Thanks for reading this, by the way. Do you guys think that it is possible to create something truly unique? Because the way I see it, anything we can create, be it music, a painting, a dance, whatever, is inspired by things we have seen or experienced. I don't think people are able to create an idea out of nothing, but rather that more creative people are able to pull inspiration from further back in their subconscious to create things that other people find unfamiliar, even why they don't know exactly what they're referencing. However, what they created could theoretically be resynthesized from all the experiences that inspired it. This is why learning about an artist's childhood can help you understand the artistic choices they make. Anyways, I would love to hear you guys' take on this. I think there's no such thing as a truly unique thing in the sense that it's like in a vacuum, psychological, like creatively. I don't think it's possible to make good work that's just completely uninspired by anything. Mm-hmm. You're always going to be slightly inspired by something, in my opinion, and things have always been that way. I think that it's just like we live in a time where a lot of things have been made already, and so it's just to stand out, you have to make something truly great, truly different, or else, you know, it's just not gonna, people aren't gonna remember it or care.
What about the first superhero comic, right?
Yeah, but
and what that, I mean,
how is that different from
anymore.
How is that different from spoken oral tradition of Greek gods and myth and Hercules?
Right. It's inspired
and
by
so it's
that
like
kind of stuff that came before. So yeah.
A lot of this shit's ancient.
Yeah. No,
so,
I agree with you. I'm just trying to play devil's advocate. Like, yeah, in that if you think about it, yeah, everything.
I think there's like innovations in art forms for sure. Like if you study the story of film, that movie, the story of film and Odyssey, and you see all the different technical, you know, the technical achievements throughout the history of film, that shit was new, but at the same time, it's like, it's still storytelling. It's still visual art, you know. But, you know, you reach a level of brilliance or genius or inspiration that kind of transcends it and becomes this milestone in the conversation over time of a certain art form. So, yeah, that's my take on that. But
yeah, I mean, if someone grew up in a complete void, they would have nothing that inspired them and they wouldn't create anything, you know?
But if you live life, you're inspired. You're inspired by your life experience, you know? Yeah. And everyone's life experience is slightly unique. So there is that uniqueness, but then it's also slightly the same. So it's kind of both. Everyone's life is similar, but also unique at the same time. So I don't know.
The duality.
The duality of man. This is the second part of the email. It says rant. I think most people don't realize that on the internet, you have no idea who is anyone. Maybe a profile pic and a bio, but that's it. We want to assume we're talking to full-grown. I don't know what the fuck he's jumping off from, but okay. I think that most people don't realize that on the internet, you have no idea who anyone is. Okay, got you. That's what he's saying. Most people don't realize you don't have any idea who anyone is. Maybe a profile pic and a bio, but that's it. We want to assume we're talking to full-grown adults when really there's a good chance you're talking to a 14 or 15-year-old. I've seen people go batshit crazy over stupid takes on Twitter, but with literally 2 clicks, you can immediately tell whoever posted this is a high-functioning autistic and isn't done with high school yet. That's not to say their opinion doesn't matter, but rather that it's an opinion that is extremely misinformed due to limited social awareness and the fact that they're a fucking kid. And it should be taken with a grain of salt. But people nowadays love being outraged over every little thing, and they can't stop for 2 seconds to look for a little bit of context. That's it, though. Thanks so much for reading this, Dexter. I hear where Dexter's coming from for sure. I personally feel like, I don't know if people with bad takes are necessarily like autistic or anything, but I do think that. A lot of the times people are young and ignorant. I think people don't realize that on TikTok. I see grown men responding to what a 15-year-old commented on their TikTok. And it's like, bro, like, what are you doing? You're yelling at the clouds right now. So I do think there's some of that. I think people, they've created this, they've plateaued all the importance of everyone's voice, which is not a new point to make, but I do think people put a little too much stake in what complete randos say on the internet for sure. Yeah. And people nowadays love being outraged over every little thing. He said, it's like that's true in one way. But in another way, people love being outraged about people being outraged about something. You know what I mean? Like they love giving a shit about that. And it's like, no one is telling you have to feel a way about anything. You got to take it for what you are. And also your opinion doesn't need to be expressed all the time, constantly about whatever thing.
People put way too much stock into what they have to say themselves and to what other people say on like Twitter and other spaces. Dude, there's this really like big time comic creator right now that works for Marvel. And he posted a picture of him on vacation in Italy. And he's like wearing a hat and someone like made fun of it. And they're like, that hat is, anyways, enjoy your vacation. Something like that. Just a super basic. And the dude responded. He's like, sorry, was busy on vacation with my beautiful wife that I paid for with my dream job. And it's like, bruh.
Bro, you're so easily triggered like over like, some bullshit.
Like, to be on vacation with your wife in Italy. And he says, sorry for the late response. It's like 2 hours later. And it's like, bruh.
Dude, just delete the comment and block them. That's what I do. If something actually annoys me, you'll never know because I've just blocked that person and deleted the comment.
Right.
Even if it's like, even if I'm being overly sensitive, I'll just be like, no, fuck you. You're annoying. Bye. You never see my content again. I block people all day, man. All the time.
Yeah. I wonder how many people they'll see their friend watching a video of you and they'll be like, wait, why can't I see his account? They didn't even know that you blocked him or blocked them. But like you're getting so big now, like they're gonna be like, damn, like that fucking sucks. I'm missing out on his videos. I'm fucking blocked. Maybe I shouldn't
make a new account, motherfucker. Trish, like we were the Elijah Wallace, shout out Elijah on TikTok, just kid I ran into at a movie who I recognized from TikTok and he recognized me. He posted a video with me like in the background of the movie theater. Yeah, and we like staged it. We like pretended like I was annoyed. Yeah. And people were like, Trish was reading the comments. And obviously I couldn't see these in the comments, but there was mad people like, he's blocked me. And then like someone replied like, he blocked me too and my friends. It's like tough shit. I have no idea why I did or don't remember, but it was worth it. Don't care, don't remember, and it was worth it. Like that's my whole philosophy on blocking is just like, if I blocked you, it was for a valid reason. And I've had so many people ask me to unblock them before. And it's like, well, don't be a fucking idiot. Don't just like, Like,
no,
it's not like I'm punching you in the face or hurting you or doxing you. It's like I'm just blocking you. Don't say annoying, dumb shit if you don't want to get blocked.
Yeah.
You know?
You got one.
People used to say, like, I'm afraid of being blocked by you. And it would be like,
block them for that.
Yeah. But I would just reply, good. You know? You should be afraid of getting blocked by me. All of you should. Like, don't say dumb, annoying shit.
Yeah.
I get a comment review like almost every TikTok I post, and someone being like, "Meat Canyon?" Like I said it on Jaded, but like the worst thing about being told you look like somebody is not the comparison itself. It's the fucking constant. This guy literally thinks he's the first person to ever point that out. Like, that's what drives me absolutely. The arrogance, the sheer arrogance that you you think you're the first person that, hey, you know, you look like this character with a red mullet and a red mustache. Do you ever get that on popular cartoon show? It's like, you're a fucking idiot. That you can't imagine. In the years I've been doing this, you think I've never been told that? It's like, that's what infuriates me. It's fucking Google gobble brain, bro. It's crazy. Shit is crazy. But listen, folks, little shorter episode of Woke Boke this week, but you know, we appreciate you guys listening as always. Follow us on the socials. Go follow Jaded Forum. Go subscribe to Jaded Forum on YouTube, man. We got 2 more episodes in the can. They're on the way. I got to fucking get off here and do work.
Sleep.
Jaded's basically a part-time job now. Yeah, I'm, you know, putting in the hours. But we're building it, and it's going to be dope. And it's totally worth it because it's a fucking fun podcast. So go listen to it. First episode's on YouTube now. We got another one coming very soon, like with the next couple of days. If you're listening to this, it might even be out today. In fact, I think that's the plan. So anyways, check that out. Love you guys. Really appreciate all y'all listening. Please keep sending us emails. And if you've never sent an email, send one, man. WelcomeBokePodcast@gmail.com. We get the same fucking 6 guys emailing all the time. Tell them to shut up. Them, right? Give us a new email. It's fucking Jack and Dexter and Seth all goddamn day. But I'm just teasing. We do appreciate it. But anyways, that's going to be it for us. We hope you guys have a great week. Tony, thanks for showing up, chopping it up about Doctor Strange. And yeah, man. We'll talk to y'all later. Woke Boke. Peace the motherfuck out. Brah.